I accept that you could have a belief that's based on a proposition and accept it without it being
No,
true.
a belief has to be the result of a proposition. That's the point.
Yes, I agree with
Right.
that.
Well, one of the fundamental teachings of Islam is that the children should take care of their parents in old age.
I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff there.
That's what I'm saying to you. So following that guidance, you'll be on that. So when you say, why should I care?
I could follow that without needing to believe in a creator.
So let's just establish a few things. I'm an Englishman and I'm born here.
Yeah.
Right. You're a Turkish man born in Turkey.
Yeah,
and how old was you when you left Islam?
He's much better at this than I am.
Well, not really. He's made so many
mate,
false
no,
accusations, so many false assumptions.
He's holding his own,
Well,
though.
well, not really. I'll tell you why you're not. And I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why I am.
All right.
I'll tell you why I am.
Proof can be true.
When did you converted late in life?
27.
Why?
Because I became convinced that Islam was the truth, obviously.
What did you like about it? Did you accept the...
Hated it.
Come on, tell me.
I hated it. Okay, I embraced Islam.
I don't hate it.
No, I didn't hate Islam or hate Muslims because I thought they were this and I thought they were that.
All right.
I hated Islam because I didn't like what it was going to do to my life.
Okay.
Okay.
Like what?
Like I lost my girlfriend, I lost my daughters, I lost my business, my family ostracized me. So I was going to lose.
But you didn't know that when you...
Well, no, obviously I did.
Okay.
Obviously I did. If I'm a mortgage advisor in my father's company and I'm the engine room of that company,
All right.
and then I pull out of that company because I don't deal in interest no more, my father's not going to be very happy with me.
Okay,
Is he?
yeah, okay, you've described
I have
that
a
very
girlfriend of 6 years with 2 beautiful daughters.
Right.
She doesn't want my daughters growing because Muslims.
And you knew she would not accept it immediately?
No, I didn't know that, but I knew there was a chance. So, because when you become Muslim, it's a way of life, and the way you're brought up in the West, it's a complete antithesis of a lot of things.
Sure.
So things you might have enjoyed doing, you're not going to be able to do no more.
Yeah.
So for me, becoming a Muslim was going to be a headache. For me, becoming a Muslim was going to make me lose things that I liked.
So what you're saying is you must have been extremely compelled.
No.
Otherwise you wouldn't have done it.
No. It depends whether or not you're intellectually honest or not. So if, for example, if you believe something is true, then get on it. Like it, don't like it, ramifications of it is irrelevant. Yeah?
Right, okay.
Because truth is truth and reality is reality.
It has to be an emotional thing to believe.
No.
How do you reason that?
Okay. I'm going to use, for the third time I've used this example today. Do you believe your father's your father?
I accept...
No, do you believe your father's your father?
No, I accept he's dead.
Do you know the word believe is synonymous with the word accept? So you're answering the same question.
No, because belief is... people take it different ways. So I'm going to say I accept that there's an 80% chance that he was my father.
Right, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
I personally believe... I like that belief. You need to understand the word belief before I ask that question. I'll be honest with you. Okay. The reason being is, you see, belief, accept, trust, convince, they're all the same. They all mean the same thing. So if I ask you to, they do. We'll go into the thesaurus and you'll see it. They're all synonymous. You can replace the word belief with the word accept.
No, we do in common language.
No, but you can do. No, what I'm saying to you is this. Now, all of these words, if I said to you, did you accept that? That means you've heard something to accept or reject, isn't it?
No.
Really? You can accept something without having a proposition?
No, I think it's talking about my father.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Right now, I said to you, forget all the personal stuff and specifics.
Yeah.
You've got to establish... I've done this twice already, I'm going to do it a third time. I don't mind.
Enjoy it.
It's nice. No, it's nice, because you might come from a different angle that other people didn't come from. Unfortunately, I think you're all going the same hole.
I doubt it.
You're all going down the same hole, Alice.
I'm happy to jump in a hole. I'm happy to jump in that hole.
You're not jumping in, you're getting dragged in. But anyway, right.
Okay, go for it.
Right, so anyway, so a belief, accept, convinced, trust, convict means you've had a proposition and then one of these words will apply. Would you agree with that?
That sounds okay.
Right. So a belief or an acceptance is the result of a proposition. You accept that? We're there, yeah?
Yeah, but but there's evidence.
No.
As well as the proposition.
No. The proposition. No.
So say you.
No. Listen to what I'm saying to you. It doesn't have to be true. The belief doesn't have to be true.
Have to be true.
Right. But it has to be the result of a proposition.
Yes, but there's evidence.
No,
Not just the
there's no proof.
proposition.
There's no proof. No, no.
For
Right
your
now,
belief,
no.
yeah.
Right now, we're not determining whether the belief is true or not, but just to accept it as true.
I accept that you could have a belief that's based on a proposition and accept it without it being
No,
true.
a belief has to be the result of a proposition. That's the point.
Yes, I agree with
Right, right, right. So when I ask you, do you believe your father's your father?
Yes.
So do you,
I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
do you believe he was your father?
I accept that he may have been with a certain probability.
So you believe there's a probability your mum cheated on your dad?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I base it
Maybe.
I base
All
it
right.
on some facts.
All right. So if I asked you, do you believe your father was your father? What would you say?
I would say that it is 80% likely.
So you would believe it then?
Yeah, I see you want to go down this route, but that's
Well, we
fine.
have to go down that route because it's just
Then-
logical.
Then I believe it with 80% probability.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. But you don't have the proof.
I think it's a slightly higher probability.
But you don't have the proof.
I'm afraid I have no.
And even if he was living, you could do a DNA test, which is fine. But
99, isn't it? 98?
possibly. But even if he was living and you didn't do a DNA test, you could still believe he was your father.
Yes, because he would actually, even if he wasn't my father, I'd still accept him
No,
as
no,
a
no,
father,
no,
so
no.
you
That
got
wasn't. No. The point here is this. Then you have to. So I can't challenge your father being your father by your proof that he was your father because there is no proof to challenge. All I can do is ask you why you believe he was your father, and you'll give me a list of reasons. Family testimony, looked like me, maybe got the same characteristics.
Give you that evidence, yes.
Photographs, this, whatever. Okay. Now these are your reasons for believing your father was your father.
Yes.
And if I want to challenge your belief that your father was your father, I have to challenge your reasons for believing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
I would have to challenge the idea of the family testimony. I can't. That's the reality. All right. That still doesn't mean your father was your father.
That's correct. But even I accept that there's a good chance-
but
there's
you're
a chance he
entitled.
wasn't.
But you're entitled, and it's reasonable for you to hold that position that he was your father, based on your reasons. Yeah.
Within a degree of probability, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So this is the principle of establishing that a belief can be true without proof.
Yes.
But in order to be able to stand on that belief without the proof, you need good reason to hold that view.
Right.
Yeah. So, for example, if someone says they believe in invisible pink unicorns on Mars, because I had people say that to me, right?
I'm sure they don't.
No, because the way it is, you see, they use a straw man, prove your God. Yeah. And then when I say I can't prove God, or I say
Deny faith, would it not?
no.
Yeah.
If I say prove there's not a God to somebody, they will say prove there's not invisible pink monkeys on Mars or whatever.
Proofs
Or
about...
all right, Bertrand's teapot, for example. You know Bertrand Russell's teapot.
No, I don't.
The teapot that's supposed to go around Mars or something. Basically, you can't disprove the teapot's there.
Okay.
Yeah. But the question would be asked, why do you believe there's a teapot there? And you can't support that belief with any reason.
Okay.
Yeah. So any belief, whether it's a belief in a creator, whether it's a belief in Christianity, whether it's a belief your father's your father, has to be based on reason for you to hold that position. Now, just because I hold that position doesn't mean you have to accept that
It
position.
doesn't have to be based on reason.
No, it has to be.
No, somebody could have a belief that's completely delusional and have no.
No, that's a principle, you see. If you're standing on a belief that has no reason behind it and has illogical reasons behind it,
Yes.
then that belief has now become what? Delusion.
Yes, of course.
Because belief is believing in something when there's overwhelming evidence to the contrary. So that's where belief and delusion comes now. So if you believe something...
And you're going to get me to the point where I accept that your belief is not delusional, I presume.
Well, if you want to prove my belief is delusional...
I don't have to prove your belief is delusional.
No. If you want to say my belief is delusional, you need to challenge the reasons for my belief.
I didn't need to...
No.
Yeah.
No. You can't call me delusional unless you've shown the reasons why I believe it. No. I'll say it again to you. No, you didn't. I'm just saying you couldn't. Unless you could challenge my reasons for holding it, isn't it?
We're getting to get to the reasons.
Yeah. So the reasons are this. So why do I believe in a creator?
Go for it.
I'll tell you why I believe in a creator. And again, I'm not trying to convince you of a creator, but I'm just trying to show you.
I like... Yeah, I'm enjoying the conversation.
You can't say that. All right, I'm going to make you believe in a creator now. All right.
That would be great.
All right. Do you believe everything that begins to exist requires a cause?
No. Necessarily.
Name something.
The universe.
That we know.
Yeah.
We don't know that didn't exist without a cause. What's your proof?
That there is a cause.
No. So what's your proof then?
Now you said that I believe in something without...
Do you know of anything that begins to exist without a cause?
It may not have a cause.
No, do you know of anything? I said no.
No.
You don't know of anything.
That's right.
So everything we know that begins to exist requires a cause.
Yes.
So we can establish that basic principle.
Within this universe, yeah.
No, of what we know.
Of what we know, which is this universe.
You can't now have special pleading to the universe.
That's what we know, yeah.
No, but why are you going to... That's what I'm saying to you. So you can't say everything we know that begins to to exist has a cause, but because I don't want to think about a cause of the universe, I'm going to use special pleading now. I'm going to apply a new case.
Get into free will on this. Go on.
No, what I'm saying to you is this: you can't apply a new standard. Either your standard is that or it's not.
Everything we know.
Everything we know that begins to exist. Everything we know that begins to exist requires a cause.
It appears to be so.
Right. So
some people will refute that.
now, if someone refutes that, if they don't believe that, I'd like to hear their reasons for that. So, if I ask someone the question, do you believe everything, or do you know of anything that begins to exist requires a cause, and they say no, then my next question has to be, name something.
Free will.
What are you about?
A lot of people believe in free will because it seems self-evident.
Well, you have to give me a reason for that.
Because it feels self-evident.
Well, that's just subjective.
I know, of course.
So you can't stand on that.
Like that.
Well, no,
I've
not said any.
I don't believe in free will.
I've not said anything subjective. I've not said anything subjective. Have I said anything subjective as right now?
You just did. You said that was subjective. The belief in free will. You said it was subjective.
No, but I didn't bring that as why I believe what I believe, did I?
No.
I'm not. Right. So you said everything's subjective, and I said it's not.
I didn't.
You did?
No, I didn't.
What did you say?
I couldn't say it was subjective because that statement is itself.
So what did you say then?
Objective. I can't remember.
I said that's subjective, and you said everything's subjective. That's what you said.
No, I didn't.
All right. Maybe the camera will.
Maybe I did.
That.
If I did, I apologise.
Right.
That was incorrect.
That's fine. Thank you. So everything I've said so far has been objective. Unless, of course, you could bring something against it. I don't mind you do.
I don't need to bring anything. It's incumbent upon you to prove it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, I'll tell you why it's not.
Not within your world, but within
No, I'll tell you why it's not incumbent on me to prove anything, because I'm not trying to prove anything to you.
No, not to me. I'm not saying you have to.
You just did.
No, I'm saying it would be incumbent upon you.
No, it's not.
To demonstrate. No, you say.
I'll tell you why it's not incumbent on me.
But
I'll tell you why it's not. No, I'll tell you why it's not incumbent on me, because I'm not making any claims.
Well, we're not got there yet.
Well, I haven't made any claims yet, have I?
Creator.
I haven't made any claims yet, have I?
You said you believe in a creator.
That's a statement.
You were gonna.
No. If I say I believe in a creator,
yeah.
First thing, if I say I believe in a creator, that's not a claim, it's a statement. First thing.
Claim you believe. Yeah.
No, it's a statement.
Yeah, sure, go for that.
Right. Second thing, I've never once said I'm going to prove God to you.
You just said I'm going to prove the creator. Anyway, don't worry about it.
No, I didn't.
You were joking.
No, I didn't say that either. What I said to you is this: I'm going to show you why you should believe in a creator. Okay. Now,
I'm all ears.
And if you have a counter to it, I'd love to hear it, because to be honest with you, the atheists so far that I've met,
I don't need a counter.
melted.
I don't need a counter to it.
All right. Do you believe in the concept of absolute truth?
I hadn't really thought about it. I don't think so. No.
Well, do you believe that's absolutely true, what you just said?
Well, you say that's the old paradox.
All right. Well, let's do it the other way then. Do you believe man landed on the moon?
I assume so.
All right. So let's make it easier. Proposition is man landed on the moon. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Right. Either man landed on the moon or man didn't land on the moon. Would you agree?
Yes. That's
right. Now, whatever you believe with regards to the reality, one of them is the reality.
Sure.
Yeah. Right. So when you said, why do I need to know? If God does exist, if a creator does exist, then you do need to know about it.
Why?
Because once you know your origin, then you've got to start thinking about your destination.
Why?
Okay, I'll explain it to you. Let's just go along the lines now that I've showed you a creator exists.
I'm not trying to be confrontational.
No, you can be as confrontational as you like. I like confrontation. Okay, but if you're saying, why do I have to care what a creator says? All right, because there's a creator that sent a messenger to warn you to recognize him, worship him and follow his guidance, or there's going to be consequences for you. So if you don't care about a hellfire that may exist, then you're right, do as you like, mate. If you don't want guidance in your life, do as you like, mate. If you think you can get through this life without any troubles and choose the right decision every time.
You jumped a bit there.
Well, I'll tell you why I didn't. Because believing in
troubles.
I'll explain. No, but I'll explain something. I'm talking about making decisions, making moves.
Sure.
You see, if you follow the teachings of Islam, you'll never be an alcoholic.
I don't drink.
No, I'm just giving an example. You'll never be a drug addict. You'll never be in debt to credit cards and mortgages and all of these things.
I do none of those things.
You'll be a good Muslim. Are you married?
No.
Have you been married?
No.
So you would have been married by now, you'd have children. Who's going to take care of you in your old age? So you're going to be a lonely old man right, and that doesn't worry you?
A little.
It should do. Because you know these carers, they're not going to care about you, mate.
I know I care for somebody, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you might show care, but there are carers who don't care about it.
There are some people that are young and that might care for me.
No.
That's a separate issue.
There's a difference between people you think might care for you and your children to care for you. Because one of the fundamental teachings of Islam is that the children should take care of their parents in old age.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff there.
That's what I'm saying to you. So following that guidance, you'll be on that. So when you say, why should I care?
I could follow that without needing to believe in a creator.
No, but the point here is this. This is not a subjective thing. We're talking about why should I believe in a creator? Well, you have a creator that knows you. This is my belief now, obviously.
That's your belief, so.
Yeah, and I'm going to come to why I believe it, isn't it? But no, you've asked me why do I care? So I have to go there now, don't I? I have to keep going backwards.
I'm afraid you do.
I don't mind. Okay, why should you care about a creator? Because you have somebody that I believe created you and all of human beings, and I believe that creator knows man better than he knows himself. And he knows what's good for man and he knows what's bad for man. And he will guide man the right way to avoid all the pitfalls in this jungle which we call life. Yeah?
Okay.
And inshallah, when we die, then we go to a better place. That's why you should care. Now,
Yes.
what you should do then is determine whether this is true or not. Should you believe it or not? So
That's the crux.
now, if this is true, what I'm saying to you, should you care? No, should you care if there is a hellfire? Should you care?
Yes.
Right, so that's why you should care. So what I'm going to show you now is why I believe there's a hellfire.
Yeah, that's the important bit.
Right. Well, we get there, don't worry. All right. Rewind. Okay, so where were we? Was that everything that we know begins to exist requires a cause? You concede that, yes?
Well,
Not necessarily concede it, you just accept it.
Well, we don't know for certain, but yeah.
Right. Do you believe the universe began to exist?
Not necessarily.
You believe it didn't begin to exist?
We don't know.
No. Do you know? Well, we just said everything begins to exist requires a cause.
No, you did.
All right, so you just accepted that, though?
No, I didn't.
You don't believe that everything begins to exist?
When I started to talk about things outside the universe, you didn't
No.
do that.
Things we know of that begin to exist.
Know of it. That's
No, but the things we do know of.
But we don't.
All right.
know.
So right now, you don't believe the universe began to exist.
We don't know.
Right. I believe the universe began to exist.
I know you do. I know you do. Sorry, but
Is that?
can't say that.
All right. Okay. Well, let's make it easy now. I believe the universe began to exist. Is that an irrational position to hold?
It could be.
Prove it.
Well, you're making assumptions about time. You know what the universe.
No. I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Right. So if you want to say my belief in a universe beginning to exist is delusional.
I didn't say it was delusional.
Right. If it's unreasonable,
It might be.
prove it.
I don't need to prove it.
Well, it's a claim.
I don't need to.
Well, you're making the claim.
You're making the claims.
No, I'm saying my belief.
I know. Fine.
Okay, I'll make it
So
easy
have
for
a
you.
belief.
If I say,
What's that got to do with me?
because you're asking me about my beliefs, isn't
No,
it?
I'm enjoying the conversation.
Right, alhamdulillah. So I'm saying to you, if I believe the universe began to exist, look, all we're trying to establish here is my belief irrational or not, yeah?
Okay, that's what you want to do, sure.
Are we not, what we're trying to establish here then?
I was just enjoying the conversation. I wasn't really establishing anything. I threw
Okay,
I threw questions at you.
Okay, what I'm going to do now, unfortunately, I'm just going to use you, all right? You don't mind, do you? Because you don't really care. But there are people watching who do care. And the people thinking like you, but actually think a little bit deeper than you, and actually do think about their old age and what's going to happen to them in their old age.
I refute that, but you carry on. I don't think they think a bit deeper than me, but you carry on.
Well, clearly they do.
In your mind.
Well, I can bring you 7 people who just embraced Islam in the last 4 weeks because of what I've just said.
I'm sure there are many.
100 that's denied it. That's just gone to university, got educated through lectures and found out that evolution's real and basically...
So say it again. Sorry, say that again.
I'm saying I could bring you thousands of people
Right.
that have left Islam.
All right. Do you think it's easier to leave Islam or join Islam?
I would say it's a lot harder to leave it.
He left.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why is that hard?
Because you've got to question everything that the book's written and
All right.
debunk it.
All right. I chose Islam. You left Islam.
Yes.
Why was it harder for you than me?
Because just believing is...
I didn't just believe. Why did you become a Muslim? Where are you
I
from?
was born a Muslim.
Where are you from?
I'm a Turk.
You're Turkish. That's the same.
I was born a Turk.
Okay,
I
so,
didn't
all
have
right.
a choice of do I join?
Ataturk did a number on your country, so I don't blame you.
I'm
Go on.
going to be straight with you. Ataturk did a number on a lot of people, and so did our pashas, yeah? But just because he did that does not really...
No, but that can result in your...
I'm going to be straight with you. Just because he did
You're
what he
Turk.
did.
You're Turk.
England did a lot of things. That
You're Turkish.
Yeah,
Were you born here or born in Turkey?
I was born in Turkey.
All right. So let's just establish a few things. I'm an Englishman and I'm born here.
Yeah.
Right. You're a Turkish man born in Turkey.
Yeah, son.
And how old was you when you left Islam?
17.
17.
Yes.
How old are you now?
47.
Subhanallah. 30 years. Okay. I embraced Islam when I was 27. I'm 45 this year now. Alhamdulillah. So right now...
I'm asking you one thing now. I'm kind of anticipating that you went through a bit of a shitty part of your life and then you encountered this song.
Okay.
Do correct me if I'm wrong.
All right. I'm not a Christian. And listen.
Allow me to rephrase that question.
I know exactly your question. I'll explain to you. I'll explain it to you. No. Well, I'll explain why I said that, yeah. When I speak to any Christian Christian and I asked them why they believe the Bible's reliable. Yeah. Well, I asked them why they believe the Bible's reliable. They always talk about some. No. Listen. When I ask them why they believe the Bible is reliable, they always go to some testimony where they were having a hard time in their life and Jesus saved them. Now, honestly, all right. No, me, I'll explain something to you. Me, I embraced Islam when I was 27. Okay, listen.
Mind me asking why?
I'm going to explain to you. I embraced Islam when I was 27. And we have to go there now, innit?
No, please.
I've done this conversation 3 times.
I'm kind of guessing it's
He's going to use me. I want to be used. I was going to get used.
All right. Yes. Oh, okay. So what you're saying now, your assumption is this: that I embraced Islam because I was at a low ebb in my life, and I needed some kind of social cohesion to belong to.
I tried.
I needed something to connect to, and so I chose that, and I embedded myself in the Muslim culture, and they fed me curry, and I loved it. Yeah.
Possible. A lot of people.
All right.
Have.
Do you know how many people have that delusion?
I'll be honest with you. I've been in prison and I've seen that delusion carry on.
All right. Well, okay.
Every day.
First thing. What you've just said now isn't delusion. I'll tell you why people in prison embrace Islam. Yeah, because
to be part of a gang.
No.
I'm telling you.
Well, I said I'm going to tell you.
Right, go on.
All right, thank you. See, when someone's in prison...
Yeah, they're lonely.
Am I going to tell you or what?
Go for it.
It's not like Family Fortunes gets the top 5 answers. Let me explain to you. All right.
Normally they are, right.
All right. When people are in prison, when you're in prison and all the distractions are away from you... Like
what? Women, drugs?
Yeah.
How many women do you get in prison?
Okay. Talking about daily, everywhere you go. It's openly. You are in prison, you can bring women to your cell and the guards let you bang. No, of course not. All right. I'm not interested in the one that is the exception that proves the rule. Yeah. Okay, that's all it is. All right. The point here is this. When you're in prison, you're going to look around you and think, my life ain't doing good for me here. Yeah? Because the way you've lived your life, the guidance you've adopted, the surroundings you put yourself in, has put you in prison, right? So when someone's at their lowest ebb, they realise that their way of life isn't working for them, then other way of life become an option. Because people become Christian in prison, obviously, as well. Okay.
Very rarely.
Right. But what happens, because the difference between Christianity and Islam offers you a way of life that if you adopt it...
They offer you money in your account.
If you... are you trying to claim people...
No, I'm telling you facts, my brother. I don't think you somewhat realise that is how it's happening.
All right. Let me boil this down to you, right?
Yeah, please do.
When I embraced Islam, I've never been in prison in my life. I've never been in prison in my life.
Are you sure?
100%.
Because I kind of remember you telling on a previous post that you had.
Me?
No. That's for someone else.
Someone else, isn't it? All right.
Me?
He was a bit of a hooligan.
I mean, unless there's another guy that...
He was a bit of a hooligan.
Me? I've never been in prison, mate.
All right, go on.
First thing, I've never been addicted to drugs either. And I've never been an alcoholic. I've never been a gambling addict.
Mate, you're now lying, because I now do remember that.
No, there's a difference between addiction, which means you're dependent on it, and I wasn't. I enjoyed it.
He wasn't in prison.
So there's a difference between gambling, isn't there, and being dependent on gambling, that you have to go to...
There's also a difference to being self-delusional. You're telling me,
stop,
you spend a good percentage of your money on gambling?
No.
He's much better at this than I am.
Well, not really. He's made so many false accusations, so many false assumptions.
He's holding his own.
Well, not really. I'll tell you why you're not. And I'll tell you why...
I'll tell you why I am.
All right.
I'll tell you why I am.
I'll tell you.
Because you know what? There's the one thing that I love talking about.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Let's go back to...
No. I'll tell you why you're wrong. I'll tell you why you're wrong. See, you've got this assumption that the only people who become Muslim are either in prison or have had a shit life, yeah?
Basically.
Done. Okay. I'll say to you that when I embraced Islam, I was a mortgage advisor, I had my own finance company, I had a girlfriend of 6.5 years and 2 beautiful daughters.
Beautiful.
No problems, mate.
Brilliant.
No problem. Islam cost me all of that.
Great.
Right. No, it's not great. It proves you're wrong, mate. First thing. So I was the opposite of what you said. I'm the antithesis.
So how did you lose something that had everything? You had your 2 kids, you had this big financial company.
It's very simple, innit? You're gonna just
let's hear the story of that.
Okay, well, my girlfriend...
Allahu Akbar, and boom, it just left.
My girlfriend didn't want to be a Muslim or my daughters to grow up as Muslims. Right. I didn't want to deal in interest anymore because I became Muslim, so my business went. My father was my business partner. Sorry? I didn't want to deal in interest anymore. I was a mortgage advisor. Okay, I was the heartbeat of my company with my father as my partner. When I pulled out of the company, obviously I lost relations with my father. So
the interest, the money, yeah?
It wasn't about money, for God's sake. So anyway, my life doesn't revolve around material possessions, my friend. If that was the case, I would never become Muslim and hold on to my stuff, wouldn't I? All right, anyway.
You're pretty tagged up with your possessions.
I like football casual design, that's me, innit? Everyone has a dress
You're
sense.
just making these claims that I'm looking, I'm going, well, it's a bit of a contradiction, but hey,
No. Why is that a contradiction?
my dear fellow, you just said, just moments ago, that you're not really into all the...
No, you looked at the material possessions I would have lost becoming a Muslim, because you said, oh, the interest you've lost, as if I cared about that.
But you just said that you did.
No, I didn't.
Because you became a Muslim.
I said I had to stop doing the business.
Brother, you're not really good at keeping your story. I mean,
Which part of my story did I not keep?
The bit that you left religion, you joined religion and lost your business because you weren't happy dealing with interest.
I didn't say that either.
No, you did.
I tell you why I didn't say that. I said to you...
Well, brother, I can see by your beard that you're one of them.
I didn't say that. Yes, I had one. So here's the thing, you see. Brother, listen. If you're going to quote me, quote what I say.
No, that's what you said.
No, I didn't. Shall I say it again to you?
My brother, when you get home, you're going to go, oh my God, I did actually say that.
Shall I say it again because I did say it?
Again.
Shall I say it again because I said it?
Go on.
Okay, I said to
your
you.
name anyway?
Hamza.
Hassan,
how you doing?
Good.
Right. Here's what I said to you. When I embraced Islam, because in Islam, one of the guidance from God Almighty is do not deal in...
You lost your children and you lost your business.
Are you going to take the piss?
I'm not taking the piss.
You're being very serious.
Kill it? Alright, thank you, Hassan. Thank you.
For what?
For the conversation.
That's not a conversation.
You don't shake my hands? Okay. Anyway, that was Hamza.
Another one slam dunk.
That was Hassan. He said slam dunk me?
Yes,
okay. He's made so many false assumptions about me. He said I was in prison, he was wrong. Said I had a shit life, also wrong. Now, just because he's had a shit life, he can't put it on everyone. Yeah? Now, he's then telling me I'm saying things I'm not saying. Look, I'll make it very, very simple for you. When I embraced Islam, I followed the teachings of Islam from day one. And that cost me my business. Why? Because I can't deal in interest. Not because I can't receive interest, I want to make money. Because as a Muslim, I cannot be a mortgage advisor. Because why? Because I'm witnessing the contract of interest. So I left it. Because I left it, my father wasn't happy with that. So I lost communication with my father. My girlfriend didn't want my daughter to be a Muslim, didn't want to marry me as a Muslim. I lost my family. So what Hassan's claim was this, that the people who become Muslims because of their shit life and that they need this cohesion, social cohesion, I'm the antithesis. I'm the complete opposite. I'm the last person, according to his standard, should become a Muslim. But I did become a Muslim. And here's the beautiful thing you see, mashallah. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, 7 English lads, mashallah, have messaged me and become Muslims. Alhamdulillah. I've got maybe another 8 who are in the process of learning about Islam now. None of them coming from a background of prison and all of this stuff. What sparked them? The intellect, the reason, the logic. What's this guy saying? Yeah, we're in Fred Perry's or French Connection or whatever. Yeah, that's my standard, that's what I like. I don't spend my money on my drugs, I don't spend money on women, I don't spend money on alcohol. I spend my money on clothes, so what? Alhamdulillah, that's my stance. I like that, alhamdulillah. Like it all, unfortunately he's dressed like a tramp. What can I do? But the point here is this. When English lads see geezers as English lads, dressed like them, talking like them, but talking religion, it sparks a subhanallah, it sparks an inquiry. And these people have embraced Islam, why? Because they had a rubbish life and they wanted social cohesion? No, because they recognize it as the truth. And when you recognize something as the truth, you're either going to be intellectually dishonest with yourself or you're going to accept it as the truth. And that's in everyone's hands and everyone's got the choice to do what they like to do. Anyway, Assalamu alaikum.